Moran, a lot of excitement here. I need you to pour some cold water on the Bears
No, not pouring
offseason.
cold water, but football's a dangerous sport to just sign a bunch of people and think it's going to work. Like, continuity is a big thing in football,
Right.
especially on an offensive line.
For sure.
I think signing all those guys is great, but getting them all to mesh and gel that quickly it'd be impressive if it happens. And Ryan, you were thinking of Deuce Staley, by the way.
Yes, I
just
was.
didn't
Thank
want
you.
to interrupt
Deuce
you.
Staley, also a great name.
Shout
Oh,
out
great name.
Deuce Staley. All
Deuce
time.
Staley.
Hurt to lose him.
No, I'm
Nah.
with you, and that was kind of my point. It's like I think sometimes it's like, okay, you look at the holes on the roster, and whether it's a left guard or a right guard or a center or a receiver, whatever position it is, and a team does address the position by, let's just say they need a receiver, a two, and the team signs a receiver, and that everyone's like, oh, there's your two, that's your guy. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, you don't just plug and play and everything's perfect because you filled a hole. There is so much that goes into it. So yeah, that's why I'm not like, maybe I'm not riding. Matt, I think I texted you this. I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. Maybe I'm just not riding as high on the Bears as others seem to be right now. Not that I'm down on them. It's just like, let's not get ahead of ourselves yet. They have to win games. You know.
Right.
Yeah, no, exactly. I always joke with Ryan and Moran. While I'm optimistic, my optimism is like pretty guarded because in the back of my mind, I'm like, you know, if for some reason this isn't it, like the Caleb Williams pick that wasn't yours and the Ben Johnson hire that everyone wanted and the weapons and this, like, if this doesn't work, what am I going to do? Like, where are we going to go from here? So in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, this year, like, you know, the offensive line gels a little bit. We win a few more games. And then, like, you know, we ascend from there would be ideal. Like, the people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to just fire on Caleb for MVP, Ben Johnson for coach of the year. This, like, God bless, spend your money where you can, you know, but I think, like, with the schedule, with the division, like, the expectations are, you know, they should be like, yeah, the Bears should look better than they were. Like, Matt Eberflus was a moron, all due respect, you know, and Shane Waldron, like, could read 10 books and still be short of a moron from the play calling we saw last year. It just wasn't great. So yeah, kind of like Moran always talks about, like, you can't even really look at last year for Caleb. Like, it was kind of like was detailed in the Seth Wickersham book, like you mentioned, KP. It was like, if Caleb Williams had a conversation at the combine or wherever with Matt Eberflus and Shane Waldron, and then he had a conversation with Kevin O'Connell, and he, like, his you know, verdict was like, man, I'd rather play for the Vikings.
Yeah.
Well, then good.
And also throw to Justin Jefferson while I'm doing it. Yeah, it like that. I don't know if you guys touched on this already, but that I just thought the Wickersham thing was it was interesting because it was sort of a behind the scenes look, and there was some stuff that we didn't know what his dad was, you know, trying to pull. But to your point, Matt, when you take a step back, none of it's really surprising. There's nothing bad about Caleb in there. There's nothing. Maybe his dad was going a little bit too far about ripping Chicago or whatever they were planning.
Nuking it or whatever they said,
But, like, yeah, you're Caleb Williams. Like, this is the modern player who's, like, being groomed to be the top pick and a Heisman winner and has the talent. Yeah, that's okay to look at all options to see what is the best option for your son. And if you're Caleb, like you said, Matt, it is a place quarterbacks go to die. So, but I will say the one, not trying to spin zone it here, but I will say after all of that, kind of reading how the pre-draft process all went down, you would never know any of that from Caleb's demeanor, from the way Caleb carried himself. You know, being at Hallis Hall, all of his press conferences are engaging, which I can't say that about other quarterbacks that have been at Hallis Hall. He didn't mope. You know, that didn't exist. So, and going into the draft, remember all this dumb stuff said about Caleb, like the nail painting, and he got emotional in the stands that one game at USC.
Mm-hmm.
Like, none of that factored in at all last year in a negative way, at all. So, you know, as of now, I think Caleb has shown at least from what we've seen and some of those press conferences, like I think he can be that dude that's your leader of your football team, or at least the leader of the offense.
I will say, as a Lions fan last year, I was impressed with Caleb's poise and leadership when it comes to not even just like the game, but more so like what you just said, like all the negative flack he came in with, the nail painting, the blah, blah, blah. Like he handled it all very gracefully, which is very hard to do when your coach is a moron and he's out there costing you games. Like it would have been very easy for Caleb to freak the f out and just say like, I'm done with this. Like, no, I'm done with this, but just like lose his cool, right? And he never really like cracked under that.
Or even just like kind of like, push
Calling
blame outward. Like, it would have been easy for him to get up there and be like, well, dude, I don't know. But like, it was always me. It was always I got to do this better, me. And like, that's easy to do when you feel like you're playing bad and like you've got the stuff around you to succeed. But like, not looking back, with goggles on the 2024 season, what a disaster it sounds like the Bears locker room was. Feels like it would have been really easy for him to be like, dude, I don't know, man. I've been here for 8 weeks. Like our coach got fired, our OC got fired. Like I don't really know. And he was always like, pointing thumbs inward for blame, which I think says a lot about just like the kind of dude that he is, because no one would have been blaming him if he was like, well, I don't know, dude. My O-line is terrible, and my play calling is awful, and we're trying to run routes, and I got a second to throw.
Yeah. Well, if he said that, I think all of us would be like, yeah, we get it. We understand. We know, Caleb.
Yeah.
You don't.
We agree, Caleb.
And I don't mean to oversell it. I mean, there could be a story coming out down the road that we don't know about, but like from everything I've heard and people I've talked to, he has handled it pretty well. So that's good.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the dudes on Hard Knocks, like, seem to be one of the boys. So that's always good when you're a QB. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm jacked that the Bears have Caleb. And I think some of the, the Joe Tooney move gets a lot of buzz, rightfully so. The Jonah Jackson move. I really think like having a veteran center like Drew Dahlman, who's like really, really smart. I mean, it just takes so much off of like diagnosing defenses from the quarterback. One thing that I personally kind of expressed concern about heading into last year for Caleb being a rookie was not having a veteran QB on the roster. Like, Tyson Bagent is fine. He's a solid NFL backup quarterback, but, just having a dude like Case Keenum around who's been in the league for so long, like teach you how to prepare, like just like learning how to be a pro. I think that could have been super beneficial last year. So definitely excited that, this year he'll be around. He'll have somebody to lean on, not only Ben Johnson, not only, Declan Doyle and the offensive staff, but, just like going to a dude who's been there. He's been a starter. He's been a backup. Like, dude, what do you do in a situation like this? What do I do? Because like all due respect to Tyson Bagent, like guy was in the league for a year as an undrafted free agent. Like it's not really someone you can go to with like a ton of advice. Like it's just not just not gonna work.
Also, on that note, Matt, I think it's hard for any QB to start from day one. And I get that he was first overall and that's not really a choice when you're the first overall quarterback. But look how much other quarterbacks benefited just from sitting a year behind a veteran quarterback, like you said, and just taking it all in and getting your feet under you. Like he hit the ground running with a bad offensive line and a bad coach, and which just makes me more impressed for his leadership.